Episode 1 Guarding Your Peace. Welcome back, friends. In the last episode, I shared how my life changed on March 19th, 2025. The day I was diagnosed with MDS, Myelodysplastic Syndrome. That day split my life into before and after. Before that day, I loved thrift store shopping, the thrill of finding treasures tucked away. I loved being on the go. I loved the freedom that comes with health, the ability to just decide, I'm going here, I'm doing this, and actually do it. I was the go-to person where shopping was concerned. If a family member needed something, they would let me know. Not only would I find it, but I would find it on sale. I got the nickname Bargain Shopping Queen. I wore the badge with honor. The thrill of finding a great bargain is so exhilarating. This was my happy, carefree, and busy life before that day. Before that day, blood work was just numbers. Hemoglobin, white blood cells, platelets, neutrophils. Words you didn't really know, understand, or had a reason to pay attention to. They were just numbers you glanced at and moved on. But that day, those numbers told a story. My body was struggling. My bone marrow, the place meant to produce life-sustaining cells, was failing. And I realized something crucial. Numbers can scare us, but they do not define us. The labs came back on that day. My hemoglobin was at a 4.6. Normal levels should be between 11 and 14. My white blood cells were at 1400. Normal levels are 5,000 to 10,000. My platelets were at 26. They should be between 150 and 450. And my neutrophils were at 250. They should be between 1,500 and 7,700. The doctors actually ran my blood work twice. They couldn't believe I drove myself to the ER. They called me a walking miracle. Most people with these numbers are fighting for their lives in the ICU. Many do not survive. Those who do often never regain full strength. I did not grasp the severity of the situation when the ER doctor informed me my hemoglobin was critically low at 4.6 and that I urgently needed a blood transfusion. I was worried about receiving contaminated blood. You should have seen the look on his face when that was my concern. The doctor informed me that my condition was critical and that the only treatment was a blood transfusion. I agreed and was so relieved when Sarah got to the ER. His calm, soothing strength calmed me down as he sat next to my bed, holding my hand. I didn't fully understand it at first. I just knew it was serious. Pancytopenia, a simultaneous drop in red cells, white cells, and platelets, was real, and it was frightening. I understood that blood and platelet transfusions were not going to fix this problem. I felt the weight of the diagnosis. I realized my life as I have known it has changed. The diagnosis felt clinical, final, heavy. I remember the quiet of the hospital room, the hum of the machines, the footsteps of nurses. And in that stillness, I realized I could not let the numbers tell the story alone. I had to write my own story, my emotional and spiritual story. Here's what I've learned since that day. Numbers tell a medical story. They do not tell the whole story. Yes, my blood counts were low. Yes, my body was under strain. Yes, the road ahead would involve treatment, monitoring, and uncertainty. However, numbers cannot measure faith. I have strong faith. I have seen my Heavenly Father take care of me my whole life. I've seen Him make a way when there is no way. I've seen Him move mountains. I have seen and experienced healing before. Numbers cannot measure resilience. I have overcome difficult situations before. I've learned from my husband how to be a fighter. I am a warrior and I will fight. I will not give up. Numbers cannot measure the peace that can meet you in a hospital room when fear tries to claim you. And numbers cannot measure the power of prayer. I'm so grateful for the prayers of family around the world, friends, and my church family. I continue to experience the strength from those prayers. One memory of His peace was when I was very nervous about the bone marrow biopsy. I had my phone on the bed above my head and had one earbud in so that I could listen to my worship music and still hear the medical staff. Despite the anxiety and excruciating pain I felt throughout this procedure, I felt His peace and strength flood my mind, emotions, and spirit. It carried me through that grueling procedure. And that peace is a gift we must claim intentionally. The decision to claim peace wasn't about my diagnosis. It was about guarding my peace. I remember lying in that hospital bed and hearing the Lord say, "Your steps are ordered by me." Something settled in me. I realized I had a choice. I could partner with fear, or I could protect the peace God has just given me. Peace is not automatic. Peace is not passive. Peace is guarded, like a treasure that requires daily protection. Philippians 4:7 says, "And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Notice it says, peace will guard your heart and mind. That means we must choose what we allow in. Fear is loud. Statistics are loud. The internet is loud. But that means we must choose what we allow in. We have to become attentive to what we allow in our mind. And when you receive a diagnosis like MDS, information comes at you like a flood. You can be crushed with a prognosis. The percentages can be daunting, and the outcomes can seem overwhelming. If you are not careful, those voices will become louder than the voice of God. Guarding your peace means deciding which voice gets the microphone. I remember fighting fear, the fear that I would not win this battle, the fear that I would not be at my daughter's wedding, the fear that I would not see my grandbabies grow up. I made the decision to replace those fears with peace. I will guard my heart and mind and stay in His peace. Very early on, I made some decisions. I realized I had to set boundaries. I would not spiral on the internet at midnight. I would not rehearse worst-case scenarios in my mind. I would not allow every lab number to define my hope. That doesn't mean I ignored reality. I educated myself. I stay informed. But I filtered reality through faith. When fear whispers, what if it gets worse? I answer, my steps are ordered. When anxiety rises before appointments, I breathe and remind myself, peace is my portion. Boundaries are practical, but also spiritual. Limiting who you share with. You do not need to hear people's fear and why questions. Some people will pour negativity into you even though they mean well. Their fear for you starts to affect your peace, so the decision becomes limiting information for both you and their well-being. Limiting how much research you do. You do not need to spend hours researching every possible symptom and result. For the most part, you understand what's going on. Researching on and on about the same things, seeing negative prognosis or negative statistics constantly doesn't help. You stay updated and educated on the things you need and leave it at that. Limiting how far your mind travels into the future. The future is not guaranteed for everyone, even the healthy. You plan what you need and leave the rest to the Lord. No need to mule over the what if. What if I die tomorrow? What if I never see my daughter's wedding? What if my grandbabies grow up without their Oma? Thinking that far doesn't help and is out of your control. You plan for what is necessary and then focus on the present day and let the Lord handle the rest. Fear lives in the future. Peace lives in today. I learned early on to avoid negative people. I do not share any updates with people who always focus on the worst case scenario. I do not give room to those who want to talk about how bad the prognosis is. The law of attraction is real. You attract what you are. If you are positive, you attract positivity. If you are negative, you attract negativity. Let me be very clear. Peace is not denial. I'm not pretending that I'm not sick. I'm not ignoring lab results. I'm not avoiding treatment. I still go to appointments. I still get blood work done. I still receive transfusions. I still get treatment. Peace is not the absence of facts. Peace is the refusal to be ruled by them. I refuse to emotionally rehearse catastrophe. When my doctor informed me that I needed to start Vidasa, a type of chemotherapy treatment, I felt fear and panic wanting to take over. This was not part of my healing journey. I did not want to go through these treatments. The Lord was supposed to miraculously heal me so I wouldn't have to go through this. I quickly recognized fear was taking over. I took a deep breath and reminded myself that my steps are ordered. My mind went back to the safe fortress of peace, to the assurance that He has me. I knew He is in control. One of the most important lessons I've learned on this journey is this: your mind is a gate. You are the gatekeeper. Not every thought deserves entry. Not every report deserves residency. Isaiah 26:3 says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you." That means focus matters. Proverbs 23:7 says, "As he thinks within himself, so he is." What you dwell on grows. Perfect peace is connected to a stayed mind, or, in other words, minds who are stayed on Him. What you dwell on grows. If you dwell on statistics, fear grows. If you dwell on God's faithfulness, peace grows. After several treatments of Idasa, I asked my doctor how he thought my body was doing. He responded that on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, he rated it at a 6. As hard as I tried, I could not stop the tears rolling over my cheeks. This was not what I expected. Even though 6 was a great number, it was not the 8 or the 9 I was hoping for. The disappointment was overwhelming. I ran to my safe place of peace and was able to compose myself. Perspective is everything. He could have said a 1 or 2. I will take a 6 and keep fighting. I will dwell on success and not failure. Here's what has helped me guard my peace daily. Number 1, morning alignment. Before I look at my phone, I align my heart. It doesn't help to start your day off thinking of all the negative things going on. Even 5 minutes of gratitude and surrender sets the tone for your day. Number 2, breathing and resetting. When anxiety rises, I stop. I breathe slowly. God is here. Right now, He's got me. Number 3, speaking truth out loud. There's power in declaring truth. I am held. I am guided. My steps are ordered. It doesn't help to just think the words. Your mind needs to hear it, and there's power in your voice. Your body responds to the vibrations of your voice, which is why you need to speak positive words. Number 4, protecting my environment. I choose worship over worry, encouragement over negativity, faith-filled conversations over fear-driven ones. Replacing every negative aspect with something faith-filled or positive helps protect my environment and peace. These aren't dramatic gestures. They are small but mighty. They require you to make a decision. They require that you stay committed. They require daily practice. They are daily disciplines. Peace isn't maintained in big moments. It's protected in small ones. I'm so grateful that I can have blood and platelet transfusions at my doctor's office when I need them. Last September, my hemoglobin dropped very low over a weekend to 5.6. I had to go to the hospital for multiple blood transfusions. I was so disappointed and had to fight discouragement taking over. I made the decision to change my perspective. I decided to stay in peace and focus on the blessings of my family and to continue to believe for my healing. Something beautiful happens when you guard your peace. My husband doesn't have to carry my panic. That doesn't mean that I don't lean on him. He's my rock, and he carries me through hard days. But even on the hard days, I choose to stay in peace. He has told me, "Thank you for not falling apart on me." I fight for my peace every day. My children don't have to manage my fear, and my grandchildren see strength instead of anxiety. Peace stabilizes everyone connected to you. I have a good friend that recently encouraged me by telling me how much she's inspired by me. It was very humbling to hear that. She told me how she has been impacted by how I'm walking this journey of healing. She has been impacted by my faith and my peace. Maybe your storm looks different. Maybe you are facing health challenges. Maybe you are facing marriage struggles. Maybe you are facing financial uncertainty. Maybe you're just facing unexpected life upheaval. You cannot always control what hits you, but you can control how you react to it. You can control what stays in you. You can control your response. You can decide what goes through your gate. Guard your peace. Protect it intentionally. It takes effort, but it is so worth it. It's the difference between fighting a battle tired and weary or fighting it strong. Peace is not weakness. Peace is strength under control. What in your life is loud right now that you need to gatekeep? You don't have to fight the entire battle today. You only need to protect today's peace. The future is in God's hands. Your responsibility is your focus. Guard it, nurture it, watch what grows. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to protect their peace today. Until next time, stay anchored.